I slammed my apartment door shut, the echo drowning out the relentless guitar riffs blasting from across the hall. But it was no use. The music seeped through like an unwelcome intruder. That night, as I paced my living room in frustration, ready to confront the source of the chaos, little did I know I was about to meet the man who would upend my carefully constructed life. His name was Jamie, and from the moment he opened his door with that defiant grin, I felt a spark that terrified me more than any courtroom battle ever had. Living in a bustling Brooklyn high-rise, I, Alex Thompson, had built my world on stability. At 32, I was a rising associate at a prestigious Manhattan law firm, specializing in corporate mergers, predictable, profitable, and utterly safe. My days were a rhythm of suits, spreadsheets, and subtle nods to colleagues who assumed I was just another ambitious straight guy climbing the ladder. But beneath it all, I harbored a secret. I was gay, a truth I'd buried deep since college, when my conservative Midwestern parents made it clear that anything alternative would shatter our family bond. They visited once a year, praising my success while subtly inquiring about girlfriends, and I played along, dating women occasionally to keep up appearances. It was exhausting, but it worked until Jamie moved in. The disturbances started small. Late-night strums that vibrated through the walls, lyrics about rebellion and love that felt too raw for my sterile existence. I'd complained to the building manager, but nothing changed. One evening, after a grueling day negotiating a multimillion-dollar deal, I couldn't take it anymore. I marched across the hall and pounded on his door. It swung open to reveal a guy in his late 20s, tattooed arms crossed, messy dark hair falling over piercing blue eyes. "Can I help you?" he asked, his voice laced with amusement. "You're Jamie, right? The musician." I snapped, trying to sound authoritative. "Your playing is disrupting the entire floor. Some of us have real jobs." He laughed, a genuine, throaty sound that caught me off guard. "Real jobs? Man, music is my job. Come in, let's talk about it." Before I could protest, he pulled me inside. His apartment was a stark contrast to mine. Posters of protest marches, stacks of vinyl records, a guitar leaning against a couch covered in activist stickers. Pride flags hung casually, unapologetic. I felt exposed, like he'd already seen through my facade. Over a reluctant cup of coffee, Jamie explained he was an indie rock artist, gigging at local venues and using his platform to advocate for LGBTQ rights. "Ever been to a Pride march?" he asked casually. I stiffened. "Not my scene." He raised an eyebrow. "Why not?" "Afraid it'll mess with your suit and tie vibe." That comment stung because it was true. I left shortly after, but his words lingered. The next day, I found a note slipped under my door. "Sorry for the noise. Coffee sometime? G." I crumpled it but didn't throw it away. As weeks passed, our encounters grew. I'd bump into him in the elevator, where he'd share stories of his latest gig or a rally against discrimination. Jamie was openly gay, unashamed, and it both intimidated and intrigued me. He spoke of his estranged family in Texas, who disowned him after he came out at 18, forcing him to fend for himself. "But I'm free now," he'd say with a shrug. "What's the point of living if you're not authentic?" Authentic. The word haunted me. My own coming out had been a whisper to a college roommate, quickly retracted when fear set in. Jamie's fearlessness was magnetic. One night, after hearing him play a melancholic ballad through the wall, lyrics about hidden loves and societal chains, I knocked again, this time without anger. "You wrote that?" I asked when he answered. He nodded, inviting me in. We talked for hours about music, life, the pressures of conformity. As the conversation deepened, I confessed bits of my truth. The double life, the fear of losing everything. Jamie listened without judgment, his hand brushing mine in a gesture that sent electricity through me. "You don't have to hide, Alex," he said softly. "Not with me." That was the beginning. Stolen moments turned into dates. Quiet dinners in hidden cafes. Walks in Central Park where we debate politics. Jamie challenged my views on everything, from corporate greed to gay rights. "Your firm's clients lobby against equality," he'd argue. "How do you sleep at night?" I'd defend myself, but doubt crept in. Our connection grew, a mix of passion and conflict. Kissing him for the first time, in the dim light of his apartment, felt like breaking free from chains I'd forged myself. But reality loomed. My parents were planning a visit, and rumors at work about lifestyle choices affecting promotions made me paranoid. One evening, Jamie invited me to his gig at a downtown club. The crowd was electric, chanting along to his songs about defiance and love. Watching him on stage, guitar in hand, owning his truth, I felt a surge of pride and envy. After the show, as we walked home, he took my hand publicly. I pulled away instinctively. "What's wrong?" he asked. "People might see," I whispered. He stopped, hurt flashing in his eyes. "See what? That you're with me? Alex, if you're ashamed, this won't work." The argument escalated back at the building. "I'm not ashamed of you," I insisted. "I'm protecting us. My job, my family. They wouldn't understand." "Understand what? That you're gay? That you're living a lie?" Jamie's voice rose. "I won't be your secret." He stormed off, leaving me alone with my fears. That night, I lay awake, the silence across the hall more deafening than any music. The next day, I tried to apologize, but Jamie was distant. Our relationship hung by a thread, forcing me to confront the conflicts brewing inside. Society's expectations, family ties, career ambitions, all clashing with the man who made me feel alive. Weeks turned into a tense standoff. I'd see Jamie in the hallway, exchanging polite nods, but the spark was dimmed by unspoken words. At work, I buried myself in cases, but my focus wavered. Colleagues noticed. My boss, Mr. Hargrove, pulled me aside. "Everything okay, Thompson? You seem distracted." "Fine, sir." I lied, but inside turmoil raged. Jamie's influence had seeped into my worldview. I started questioning the ethics of our clients, big pharma companies fighting against affordable healthcare, which disproportionately affected marginalized communities, including LGBTQ folks. During a team meeting, I voiced a mild objection to a strategy that skirted labor laws. Heads turned. Hargrove frowned. "Stick to the facts, Alex. Emotions don't win cases." Emotions. That's what Jamie brought into my life. A flood of them. One afternoon, unable to stand the distance, I texted him, "Can we talk?" He agreed, meeting me on the rooftop terrace of our building. The city skyline stretched before us, a reminder of the vast world beyond our hall. "I'm sorry," I started. Pulling away was cowardly, but coming out, it's not just about me. My parents, they'd cut me off. And the firm? Partnership is within reach. Jamie sighed, leaning on the railing. "I get it. My coming out cost me everything at first. But hiding? That's a slow death. Remember that rally I told you about? The one where cops clashed with protesters? I was there, fighting for visibility. For us." His passion reignited something in me. We reconciled that night, but with conditions. I'd take small steps toward openness. It started innocently, a joint coffee run where I didn't flinch at his affectionate touch. Then, he convinced me to attend a local LGBTQ support group. Sitting in that circle, hearing stories of rejection and resilience, I felt less alone. One man shared how he lost his job after being outed, mirroring my fears. But another spoke of rebuilding stronger, finding acceptance. Inspired, I opened up to a trusted colleague, Sarah, about my sexuality. Her response was supportive. "About time, Alex. We've got your back." It was a relief but also a risk. Word spread subtly. Whispers in the office made me anxious. Meanwhile, Jamie's career was heating up. He landed a spot at a major music festival, his songs gaining traction online for their bold messages on equality. But fame brought scrutiny. An old video resurfaced. Jamie at a protest, clashing verbally with counter-protesters who hurled slurs. Tabloids twisted it, labeling him a radical agitator. His label pressured him to tone it down. "This could tank my album," he confided one night, pacing his apartment. I held him. "Stand your ground. That's what makes you you." He smiled weakly. Easy for you to say, Mr. Closet Case. The jab hurt, sparking another fight. I'm trying, Jamie. But if I come out now with your controversy, it could destroy my career. Destroy? Or force you to find one that aligns with who you are? He countered. The tension built as my parents' visit approached. I hadn't told them about Jamie, describing him vaguely as a neighbor. When they arrived, the inevitable happened. Jamie knocked, inviting us all to a rooftop barbecue he'd organized for the building. My mom, ever the socialite, accepted before I could object. At the event, Jamie was his charismatic self, charming my dad with music talk. But when conversation turned to politics, my dad railing against those liberal agendas, Jamie didn't hold back. Respectfully, sir, those agendas are about basic human rights, like marriage equality. My dad bristled. Marriage is between a man and a woman. End of story. Jamie glanced at me, expecting backup. I stayed silent, heart pounding. Later, alone, he exploded. You let him spout that crap without a word? That's your family? They are, I defended. I can't just blow it up. Maybe you should. For your own sake. The rift widened. My parents sensed something off, pressing about my friendship with Jamie. He seems flamboyant, my mom said delicately. I deflected, but the pressure mounted. Then, disaster struck. An anonymous tip to the firm about my associations with a controversial activist. Hargrove called me in. Is this true? Dating some musician who's stirring up trouble. I froze. Deny or own it. The choice loomed, a turning point in our fragile bond. The office confrontation hit like a gut punch. Hargrove's stare bored into me, waiting for an explanation. Well, Thompson, taking a breath, I decided. Yes, sir. Jamie and I are together. But my personal life doesn't affect my work. He leaned back, sighing. In this firm, it does. Clients are conservative. We can't afford scandals. No immediate firing, but a warning. Shape up, or partnerships off the table. I left shaken, anger bubbling. That evening, I told Jamie everything. Instead of sympathy, he was furious. See? This is what hiding does. It gives them power over you. But if I fight back, I lose everything, I argued. Everything material, maybe, but you'd gain yourself. His words echoed as conflicts escalated. At home, my parents extended their stay, suspicious. One dinner, my dad found a photo on my phone. Me and Jamie at the park, arms linked. What the hell is this? He demanded. I came clean. Dad, Mom, I'm gay. Jamie's my boyfriend. Silence, then explosion. My dad ranted about disappointment, sin, family shame. My mom cried, asking where she'd gone wrong. They left the next day, vowing to pray for me. The rejection stung, but a weight lifted. Jamie supported me through it, our bond strengthening. We spent nights discussing futures. Him touring, me perhaps shifting to pro bono work for LGBTQ causes. But society threw more curveballs. Jamie's festival performance went viral for the wrong reasons. During his set, he dedicated a song to those still in the closet. Glancing at me in the crowd. Online trolls attacked, doxing him, sending threats. Worse, some backlash spilled to me. A client pulled out, citing my lifestyle. Hargrove demoted me subtly, assigning menial tasks. Friends distanced themselves. Even Sarah admitted discomfort with the drama. Amid this, Jamie faced his own demons. His label dropped him, calling his activism too polarizing. Broke and dejected, he considered quitting music. Maybe I should tone it down, he muttered one night. No, I urged. That's not you. We'll figure it out. Inspired by his resilience, I took a stand. I leaked an internal memo exposing the firm's discriminatory practices to a journalist friend. It blew up, headlines about corporate hypocrisy, tying into broader debates on workplace equality. The firm fired me, but the story garnered support. Offers poured in from progressive organizations. Jamie, Boyd, self-released his album, which soared on indie charts thanks to the publicity. Our relationship deepened, but not without friction. Jamie's impulsiveness clashed with my caution. During a heated argument about moving in together, he accused me of still hedging. "You're out now, but are you all in?" "I am," I insisted, but doubts lingered. Society's judgments, stares in public, online hate, tested us. A particularly vicious article labeled Jamie a homewrecker, implying he'd corrupted me. The climax built at a citywide Pride event. Jamie was invited to perform, but threats loomed. "I'm doing it," he declared. "For us, for everyone." I worried, but joined him on stage as backup, my first public declaration. The crowd cheered, but backstage, a confrontation with a heckler turned physical. Jamie shoved him away, escalating into a scuffle. Police intervened. Jamie was arrested for assault. Bailing him out, I was livid. Was it worth it? Risking jail? For standing up? Yes, he shot back. The incident sparked debates. Was Jamie's aggression justified? Media split, some hailed him a hero, others a thug. It strained us further, forcing me to question if our worlds could truly merge. The arrest made national news, polarizing opinions. Supporters rallied with Free Jamie, while critics decried violent activism. I stood by him, testifying at the hearing about the heckler's provocations. Charges were dropped, but the damage lingered. Jamie's reputation tarnished, gigs canceled. Back home, we navigated the fallout. "This is what fighting looks like," Jamie said wearily. "Messy, painful." I nodded, but resentment brewed. My life, once orderly, was chaos. Unemployed, family estranged, constantly defending our love. Yet, in quiet moments, holding him, it felt right. Rebuilding began. I landed a job at a nonprofit advocating for LGBTQ rights, using my legal skills for good. The pay was less, but fulfillment soared. Jamie pivoted to online content, building a loyal fan base through raw, unfiltered videos. Our relationship evolved, blending our differences. I tempered his recklessness. He ignited my courage. But societal pressures persisted. At a family wedding, my cousins, I attended alone, as my parents forbade Jamie. "It's their day," I reasoned. Jamie was hurt. Hiding me again? Thought we were past that. The fight led to a break. A week apart, me crashing at a friend's. Reflection hit hard. Was I still compromising too much? Reunited, we committed deeper. We moved in together, transforming our apartments into one shared space, his chaos meeting my order. Friends celebrated. Even some colleagues reached out positively. But high drama returned. Jamie received an offer. A major label deal, but with clauses to soften his image. No more protests. Toned down lyrics. "It's a chance to reach more people," he pondered. "Don't," I urged. "It's selling out." He agonized, ultimately declining. "You're right. Authenticity over fame." His decision inspired me to reconnect with my parents. I wrote a letter, explaining my happiness, inviting dialogue. Months later, a tentative call from Mom. "We miss you, but it's hard." Progress slow but real. As our story spread, through Jamie's songs and my advocacy work, we became unwitting symbols. Interviews probed. How do you balance love and activism? Is compromise betrayal? Tensions peaked during a national debate on anti-discrimination laws. Jamie testified before Congress, sharing our story. Opponents attacked, calling us agenda pushers. Protests outside turned violent. Jamie was targeted again. In the aftermath, hospitalized with minor injuries, he whispered, "Worth it." Holding his hand, I realized the depth of our bond. But doubts surfaced. Had I risked too much? Society's divides seemed insurmountable. Recovering, we planned a future. Marriage, perhaps adoption. But reality intruded. A job offer for Jamie in LA, away from New York scene. "Go," I encouraged, but inside, fear gripped. "Long distance? With our histories?" He hesitated. "Not without you." The choice loomed. Uproot my new life or let him soar alone. The LA offer hung over us like a storm cloud, forcing tough conversations. "This could be my big break," Jamie admitted. "But leaving you? No way. I weighed options. My nonprofit role was rewarding, rooted in New York. Uprooting meant starting over, but staying meant separation. We could make long-distance work, I suggested weakly. He shook his head. That's not us. We're all or nothing. Days blurred into debates, emotions raw. Friends advised caution. One said, love shouldn't demand everything. But Jamie's eyes pleaded for commitment. Inspiration struck during a walk through Brooklyn, past our old hall. Remember our first fight? I asked. He smiled. How could I forget? You hated my music. Now it's my soundtrack. That night I decided I'd go with him. We packed, said goodbyes, and drove cross-country, a metaphor for our journey. En route, we faced microaggressions. Stares at rest stops, comments from strangers. It reinforced our resolve. In LA, challenges mounted. Jamie's career exploded, tours, interviews, but fame's isolation hit. Paparazzi hounded us, twisting our story into tabloid fodder. Rebel rocker's secret lover headlines fueled rumors. My job search dragged. I felt adrift, resenting the move. Arguments flared. I gave up everything for you. And I for you, he countered. We built this together. A breaking point came at a gala. Jamie, networking, flirted innocently with a producer. Jealousy surged. I stormed out. Later, reconciliation. I'm scared, I confessed, of losing you to this world. He held me. You won't. You're my anchor. Time healed. I found work at a West Coast firm focused on civil rights. Thriving. Jamie's album topped charts. Messages of love and resistance resonating. But societal conflicts persisted. A backlash campaign against Hollywood's gay agenda targeted us. Protests at his concerts, we hired security. One night, a fan's letter moved us. Your story gave me courage to come out. It reminded us why we fought. Years in, we married quietly, rings symbolizing hard-won union. Family thawed, my parents attended virtually, a small step. Yet peace was fragile. Jamie's health scare, a stress-induced collapse, forced reflection. Was it all worth the risk? He asked from the hospital bed. Holding his hand, I knew, yes, but the question lingered, sparking endless debates in our circle. As we aged gracefully, our tale became legend, told in songs, books, inspiring others. But at its core, it was about choices. Conformity versus authenticity, security versus love. Is it true that true love demands risking everything? Or can it thrive within the safety of hidden truths?